how do you think you've changed over the past year?
I've experienced, I've gotten more into my hobbies and like what I do outside of school a lot more, especially art, because I was thought, I didn't have enough time to do drawing and like painting and stuff like that, but I got the chance to do it over quarantine, which was really nice, and that helped kind of expand my horizon to other things. So like I also got into like shows. I also got into more of like the animation industry, and from then on I've gotten better with my passion, which was really nice.
What like specific hobbies have you picked up? Like, have you picked up any new hobbies over quarantine?
I learned a little more on the ukulele and guitar, and we got a piano over quarantine too, which was great. So I also learned a little bit more piano. What else have I learned? I think just overall, in general, I got into music more. So like I'd do loops, I'd make like small little songs on my own. And yeah, that's kind of like a specific hobby that I managed to get into, but art was kind of something I did all the time, but it was just more like prominent over quarantine.
What are other things that have changed in your life? It could be like regarding friends, school.
Friends is a big one. Friends in particular definitely have changed. So I don't know if it's like, the isolation with quarantine making you think a lot and being like, like you have like memories of like fun times, right? But then you look over those fun times and you're like, oh, that was kind of toxic, huh? And so I don't know, it's just kind of just like you're like, I don't know what the word is, but overall, I definitely got rid of my old friend group, and I feel 10 times better in my new friend group, which I have found over the internet. I have a better friend group through that, definitely. I'm trying to think of like more things that dramatically changed. I'd say mentally, it was a roller coaster. Mentally, it was definitely a roller coaster because at first it was great because you didn't have school, and so that was just kind of like liberating, and so you got to do whatever you wanted to do without like the pressure of school, and so that was nice. Summer kind of faded off a bit, but it was still fine. But then online school ruined everything. Like it was just like, it's just school, the pressure of school just like has to ruin everything, and then that's the only thing that brought everything down. Like everything else was fine. It was just I realized what potential I had until school came in and kind of blocked that.
How would you describe yourself a year ago? Like who was Sydney a year ago?
I was definitely more hardworking a year ago than I am now, definitely. And this is kind of like a problem I have today. I like to compare myself to people a lot. It was more frequent back then, like back junior year and like sophomore year. That was definitely just something I had a problem with, and it would be like my drive and like my motivation to do better, especially with having a sister who is like way better than me. She's got like straight A's and stuff like that. That was kind of like my motivation back then, but now I don't care. Like it's probably good that I don't care what other people have, but at the same time, I don't really have motivation to do school anymore. So that's kind of that's a hard part about it, I think.
Would you say that you've like stopped comparing yourself to people? Like, have you like decreased in that?
Yeah, I've definitely kind of like stopped doing that a little bit more. Yeah, definitely.
How do you think the world has changed, other than the fact that we're in a global pandemic, but other than that, like, how do you think the world has changed over the past year? Because it's about to approach a year since we went to work.
I'm just going to go straight off of like bad terms. We have gotten so divided, like the world, like, I don't know. It feels like we're so like cranky with being inside all the time that kind of just like set everything off. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that's the only thing that set everything off. It was just, once again, people had time to themselves, and like they had that time to think and like be like, oh, this, and so That's a bad thing. I'll try and think of a good thing. I think voices have been heard. A lot more voices have been heard. In anything, not just, politics, the B2 movement, that like everything within that has been more spread. I don't know the word for that, but it's just, yeah, a lot more voices have been heard. Since like there was a ripple effect, like one person said something and then it just kept going on from there, and that's a really good thing. I thought that was a good thing that happened.
So how do you keep yourself going? How do you get yourself through the day? Get yourself going?
Sorry. Lately I've sorry. Oh. I'm still currently struggling with that, but recently I've been doing the simple things like making my bed in the morning and putting on a fresh pair of clothes. That obviously doesn't bring motivation for the entire day, but it does at least get me out of the bed in the morning. Just like small things that kind of just build up and make, it's a difference. It's better than nothing. So
how do you feel like about the changes you've been through, like over the past year, over like regarding the world, yourself? Like, how do you feel about the changes you've gone through?
I'm kind of in the middle about how I've changed. I mean, appearance-wise, I feel great. But like, once again, there's always like a good and bad, pro and con. I definitely feel like I've improved a lot in some places, most places. But there's usually a part of my day where I'm just like, what happened? Like, why couldn't I have just kept this motivation I had back in junior year? Or like, with like friendships and stuff like that. Like, why didn't I say anything? Like, why didn't I just, talk about my feelings? Like, just realizing how much I've kind of opened up. But once again, just pro and con with everything. I feel meh about it still, but I do know I have improved in some ways.
If you could talk to the person you were, at the beginning of quarantine or like right before quarantine started, if you could talk to yourself a year ago today, what would you say?
Live your life to the fullest. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. I understand you might be scared in some situations. That's okay. It's good to be scared. That means you're alive. But just take those once in a lifetime opportunities. Do something you haven't done before. I don't know, just the basic golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated.